Am I the asshole here for refusing to speak to my friend and ending our 15+ long year friendship after she took my purse, used my money, and lost it? So I, female 21, am just about to leave from a vacation with a friend, also 21 female, and I'm honestly still sick over what happened. A few days ago, she took my expensive Zadig and Voltaire purse, without asking. This purse was a Christmas gift from my sister and has huge sentimental value. I've spent the past few years taking really good care of it because it means so much to me. When she took it, she didn't even tell me. I only found out after the fact that she used it to go to the laundromat and in the process, used my money, which she also didn't ask to take. For context, the purse had around $40 in cash and a bunch of quarters. A gift from my sister's best friend's mum. 60 euros in notes, and at least 20 euros in coins. So we're talking over 100 euros total, not to mention the purse itself. And now, the purse is gone. She lost it. I was obviously upset, not yelling or blaming her, just crying and saying I wasn't mad, just hurt. I told her how much that purse meant to me and how hard I've worked to keep it safe for years. Instead of apologizing, she got huffy with me, rolled her eyes and said, "How much does it cost? I'll just replace it," in this angry, dismissive tone. She has a very defensive and confrontational nature that makes me feel bullied and small, so I find it hard to stand up to her. But it's not just about the money, it's about trust and respect, and about losing something deeply personal to me. Since then, she hasn't apologized at all. In fact, she's acting annoyed that I'm upset. Now we're on the last night of our trip, and I've decided to just be neutral and quiet for the journey home. But once we're back, I plan to stop speaking to her entirely. I feel like she violated my boundaries, disrespected my belongings, and is now making me feel like I'm too sensitive for being hurt. But some mutual friends are already making me feel like I'm being dramatic and should let it go because it's just a bag. So am I the asshole here for cutting her off and refusing to speak to her after this? In the comments, she's not a friend. She also needs to pay you back for the purse. She stole it actually, so she's a thief. So it's your choice on how to handle that going forward, not the asshole. And for all the money that was in there, are you sure she lost it and didn't throw it away, or decided to keep it for herself and pretend she lost it? I understand where you're coming from. My stepsister borrowed one of my favorite shirts and then gave it away and won't even pay for a new one. She didn't lose it. She stole it and likely decided to keep it. She probably still has it hidden away. Check her stuff when she's not looking or when she's in the shower. I'd bet my last penny that you'll find it hidden in her suitcase. She's not a friend. No friend would ever do such a thing. If she only went to the laundromat, then how did she manage to lose it? She didn't. She has it. Try telling her that you'll be reporting it to the police. If you do find it, take it and hide it in your stuff. What's she gonna do, get angry that you stole a missing purse? She's your friend? Geez, so tell us about your enemies. OP says, surprisingly enough, she's seeming to be my only enemy. Punkin Bubba says, yeah, I don't think so, especially when it comes to my bags. I have bags that I've paid thousands for. You never touch anybody else's purse or bag. On the other hand, I feel like she's full of shit and has been wanting the bag and saw an opportunity to swipe it. OP says, yeah, I don't understand her. I've just had the idea to call the Airbnb we stayed at just in case they find it. Can't tell if it's carelessness or if it's an act of treachery. Either management says, not the asshole, and I don't know why you say you weren't angry, just hurt. I'd be furious as well as hurt. She stole from you. She violated your trust. She's deflecting as if you're the one making a big deal about it, as if what she took was, say, a candy bar, and not an expensive bag costing hundreds of dollars or euros, as well as a bunch of cash. Why would you want to stay friends with someone who could do that? If she won't pay you back in cash for the money in the bag, I'd post this all over social media with her name attached as a warning to others. Because I doubt a police report will get you anywhere at this point. OP replies, I agree. But getting angry with a girl like her doesn't work. It only invigorates her, it seems. I am genuinely heartbroken, as this has huge sentimental value, but also the amount of money in it, which may not be large to most, but it is a lot to a student nurse in college whose parents are not wealthy enough to support my college fees and living expenses like hers are. When I receive nice things, I aim to keep them for a long time. She just lost my belongings like it was nothing, and then never apologized. I don't think you're the asshole for refusing to speak to your friend and ending the 15+ year long friendship. I do find it weird that if it is the case she stole it from you, that she would do that to you. And I questioned what changed to make her be like this. Because if you've been able to be friends with her for 15 years, obviously she wasn't always like this, or has just been very good at hiding it. But yeah, I would just steal it back from her if you manage to find a moment to get it back from her belongings, and then just walk away, cut ties, and enjoy life without her ruining it like she has been. And now, onto the update. So I have an update. Thank you to everyone who gave advice or shared support. It really helped more than you know. On the flight home, she asked me to mind her passport in my bag, even though she had her own backpack. I agreed just to keep the peace because I didn't want to deal with any attitude or fighting. When we landed, she turned to me and asked, "Do you have my passport?" in this snappy tone. I was still hurt and wanted to get one last jab in, so I said, using the exact words she said to me all week about my missing purse, "I was checking my bag the whole time to make sure your passport was there, but maybe it'll show up when we get off the plane." I regretted saying it immediately. She snapped in front of other passengers, finally acknowledging that I'd been upset about the purse, but in the most cruel and dismissive way. She said, "Well, at least I didn't throw a hissy fit, bawling, crying for hours over a purse." That was the last straw. She acknowledged my obvious upset, yet still would not apologize. Once we got our bags at the airport, I told her that I wanted to check her suitcase for my purse. I said if she refused, I'd involve the police. She tried to say that I was violating her privacy, which is hilarious considering she took my purse and went through my belongings. I told her if it wasn't there, she had nothing to be worried about. I also made it clear that I wasn't going to touch any of her stuff, that I wasn't interested in taking others' belongings without permission, just checking for what was mine. She was absolutely fuming, face red, shaking, visibly furious. Then she shoved her bag at me and told me to go ahead. I opened a zipped compartment, and inside it was a black trash bag. Inside that was a red Target bag. Inside that, drum roll, my purse. All of the money was still inside. The cash, the euro coins, but no quarters. I was honestly so shocked I couldn't even ask why she had it or what her plan was. I just said thanks and walked away with my stuff. I got on the bus home and haven't spoken to her since. I wish I hadn't been so emotionally drained to have given her a piece of my mind. She has since blocked me with no apology or explanation. As a side note, her mum, who doesn't know that we're not speaking, called me at 3 a.m. crying. She was saying how badly she feels treated by her daughter and by her husband, how she's constantly belittled. I won't get into any of what had just happened, but it definitely gave me more perspective. This girl is a cruel and horrendous person with little to no empathy. And I think maybe a sociopath. Anyway, I got my purse back, but the whole thing left a really bad taste in my mouth. I still don't fully understand what she was trying to do, and honestly, I don't think I want to. I'm just relieved that it's over. What do you guys think she was aiming to do with the purse? Very little of my money inside was used. So strange. Thanks again. In the comments, Child of Crow says, "What do I think she was trying to do with it? I think she felt a lot of jealousy and was trying to take something of yours to make you miserable because it makes her happy. Also, why the hell is her mum calling you at 3 in the morning? Was she drunk?" Quote, "She's trying to make you miserable because it makes her happy." The cost of the purse was probably less relevant to her than the sentimental value of it to OP. OP replies, "Yes, Drink driving, so was a dire situation, and I'm in the midst of trying to get her professional help without the rest of her family knowing. Sticky situation, they will come at her for coming to me. Why haven't you told your friends and her mum about what happened? It's like you want her to rewrite the story to make you the villain. OP says, my friends are aware, and my entire family. They told me that they are disgraced by her behavior and to cut off contact with her. The friends on vacation, however, whether they sided with her or were actually too afraid to side with me, I'm not too sure. I haven't reached out to them, and if from advice from the previous post, I am not continuing my friendships with them. I can't be friends with someone who is too weak to stand up for me. Her mother was drink driving and in a bad spot, so I felt it was not the right time to bring up the situation as she was very upset. PR Drummer replies to that, you should definitely tell the whole party that you found the allegedly lost purse inside her luggage, that she outright lied to you and stole it. Whatever they decide to do after that is on them and not your responsibility. What the hell is going on with the mum drink driving at 3 in the morning? That just felt like such a casually tossed in there detail. Oh, you know what? There's a whole, situation happening right now, and I hate all of the attention being brought to it, and I'm gonna cut all of these people off. Also, her mum was drink driving at 3 in the morning and just yelled at me over the phone, but that's not too important. Let's focus on the rest of the story. Jesus. You know what? Maybe it's best that you keep a distance from these people, OP. I don't think any of them are healthy to be around. I think that'd be a net negative for your mental state. So thank you for taking the advice of the comments and doing the right thing, and thank you for the update. Our next post is by user @ClubSilencio, and it's titled, A teacher who was very cruel to me as a child reached out to me. Should I tell her how I feel? So I recently got a friend request from my 5th grade parents teacher. I am 30 now. She sent me some happy message with excitement and hugs, and it left me very confused. This woman was an absolute monster to me when I was in her class. She would go out of her way to humiliate me or punish me for things that I had nothing to do with. During this time, my mother was getting treated for cancer and had to get surgery. My father fell back into alcoholism, and my parents' marriage was falling apart. Every day, I dreaded going to class, literally have panic attacks. She would single me out and look for things to put me down for. I had never screamed at a teacher in my life, but I lost it on her when I had to leave early to go to the hospital for my mum and walked in to get my things during break, which she didn't allow. She immediately screamed at me, started writing up a detention slip, kept screaming, and I snapped and I lost it. She kept yelling at me and putting me down even after I explained I was going to the hospital, or when I was having anxiety over having a tooth pulled and when my dad came to pick me up. She jokingly and menacingly yelled, "They're going to rip all of your teeth out." And that's just some of the things she did. She was literally the reason I told my parents that I refused to ever go to a Christian or religiously based school again, and it was living hell for the year that I had her. Now she thinks we're friends? I don't want to attack her, but I am tempted to at least confront her on it, say I forgive her, and move on. Shouldn't an asshole be held accountable, or is there a statute of limitations over childhood trauma? In the comments, AP Kale says, "We live in a world where a private email can turn into your publicity disaster. Flatly tell her to never contact you again, that's all. Or better yet, ignore her. Don't go full man-child like the rest of the Redditors are suggesting. You are 30 years old now. You should have priorities that transcend some shitty teacher experiences we've all had." OP replies, "I know what you're saying is the appropriate route to take, but my father was just cremated yesterday on my birthday of all days, and then this bitch decides to pop up in my life and pretend to care? I so don't want to be a man-child, but she nearly brought me to suicide, and I barely even understood what that was at the time. She was the worst bully of them all. People like this are fucking bullshit, and I'm probably just oversensitive and fucked up right now because of the whole dad thing, but I never got any closure from my father either. And I feel like she should know that her actions really hurt someone. I don't know. I'm just exhausted and done." BGK says, "Obviously this woman tormented the hell out of you. So the last thing you need is to let her back into your life. I would simply respond with FOAD. F off and die, and then block her. OP says, I was planning on blocking her after giving her some truth. She just sent a long message about how she's been tracking me down for a long time and how blessed she is that she finally found me, and hopes I'm doing great and can't wait to reconnect with me. I'm so confused, and my blood is boiling. Acid Vogue says, honestly, if you would benefit from it by bringing you some kind of closure or retaking of power you didn't have as a child, do it. But if you would feel guilty afterwards or have nothing to gain, then just block and move on. I would want to tell her how monstrously she treated me, but I would feel guilty about it because I'm messed in the head, so I just ignore it and move on with my life. She sounds messed up. Tell her what she did to you. After that, don't keep in touch with her. Piggybacking on this to say, don't let her gaslight you or walk on your feelings either, OP. The things you're about to tell her will make her hostile most likely. Be prepared for her to be horrible again. This is one of those situations where I question whether it is worth genuinely responding in a situation like this. I understand OP's want for closure and the fact that their father just got cremated on their birthday. Emotions are significantly higher than they usually are, if not the highest they'll ever be for a long time to come, and you're now hit with this email. I myself feel very confident about the things I say and my actions when I am incredibly angry and in my emotions. That doesn't mean that it's right when I act on those emotions, and a lot of the time I come back later when I've calmed down and go, shit, I shouldn't have done that. It felt amazing in the moment, and I felt like they deserved it, but what have I done? I wish I could go back in time and reverse at least some of those actions. Like that first commenter said, we live in a world where a private email can derail your public reputation, and this is very much an opportunity for that to happen. So I'd say weigh up the pros and cons of sending a message like you want to send, OP. Is it worth it? And now, onto the update. So, wow. Firstly, I wasn't expecting such an overwhelming amount of messages and responses. I've been trying to catch up with all of them, but today was 420, and I work at a cannabis dispensary, so I wasn't able to update earlier. But what I have read so far has helped me better weigh the pros and cons of responding, and the support from you guys is really comforting and has helped me not feel quite as alone. I was fuming last night, as I'm already dealing with a lot, and her message took me there. So I held off until I could process it a bit more and not take the low road and get vicious. She absolutely deserves for me to, and it would definitely make me feel empowered, but I know that would quickly fade into wasn't worth it territory. I was civil, but I called her out on it. I've decided to post screenshots, not to exploit this, but maybe you guys can perceive this differently. I feel like it's not really an apology, and the whole her representing Jesus poorly thing and turning it into something about religion is a cop-out. She doesn't even take responsibility, especially in how she says, if I was a bad representation of Jesus, which it sounds like it, ... is the understatement of the year. I did this on my 1 10-minute break, and man, I could have said more, and part of me wants to, but I probably shouldn't let this escalate. Also, her being the mayor just blows my mind. Of course she is. I probably could have done so much better. Here are screenshots of the conversation. Starts with teacher saying, "Here I am. I've looked for you a few times, but was successful this time. Crazy times we're living in now, but all is well, and I hope this finds you at peace and healthy. If I could just get a good deep cleaning done on my house, I would be thrilled. Gardener's in, so I'm off to clean today. Blessings to you, honey. So good to connect. Let's visit more later." OP replies, "I'm not exactly sure how to say this. I don't wish you any ill will towards you, but I also have no desire to reconnect with you. You treated me horribly when I was your student, singling me out and frankly bullying me at times. You said very hurtful things to me that no teacher has ever said. Not only would I have panic attacks before your class every day, but my dad was falling back into alcoholism, my mum was in the hospital for cancer, and I was trying to hold my family together. As a child. And then, for some reason, you singled me out and made me feel like less of a person compared to my peers. I never went to another Christian school again because I was sick of it, and you really just hurt me. A lot. Again, I'm not attacking you, and I forgive you, but I don't see any point in reconciliation or reconnecting. But I wish you the best and hope you are well. My father passed away last week, and frankly, you just remind me of one of the darkest times of my life, and I don't need those memories right now. I'm moving forward, God bless. She responds, "Oh my gosh, Jacob, I'm so sorry. I have fond memories of you, but no specifics. I thank you so much for being open and transparent with me. I thank you for your kindness and wish you nothing but the best and pray for an abundance of grace all over you. If I was a bad representation of Jesus in your life, which it sounds like it, I only remind you that I am flesh and please to look to Jesus instead. And I am so sorry to hear about your father. I lost mine a year and a half ago. Blessings to you, Jacob, and thank you for your transparency and my apologies from the depths of my heart." In the comments, Jamora says, "So I came across your post earlier just on random scrolling, and it's good to see that you went through with a reply. Sorry if her reply wasn't what you were looking for. I feel like people who respond in an overly religious way to criticisms are using it as a crutch to get out of guilt. If you decide to reply, and if I was in your position, I would be polite, as you were earlier, but let her know that she should work harder at upholding her values, and that as an adult and as an educator, she's supposed to be someone that children trust and look up to." OP says, "She no longer teaches. She is the mayor of her city, and it's definitely a crutch." Sorry, man. That being said, she's a leader now. She should be even more accountable, but as a politician, she's definitely never going to admit wrongdoing in text. Red Bus Green Bus says, "Actually, you handled that really well. Facts only, straight to the point, polite and calm. Sad to say, or not, her response was the opposite, flailing about and refusing to account for her actions by claiming that she is flesh. Okay then. I really dislike how she turned your points and frustrations back on her to try to make out that she's the victim as well, when you said your dad passed and she said she lost hers too. Nobody cares. Jeez, shake my head. Anyway, well done. You should be proud of yourself on how you handled this cringe bucket of an individual. The teacher's writing style makes it sound like she was going to pull you into an MLM. That's quite frankly also the only explanation I could think of for why a random 5th grade teacher would try to reconnect with you 20 plus years later. Or is this a weird small town thing? Nah, her first text sounds like how my nana would write letters. From then on, she's gone into full-on politician speak. Why she's reconnecting? Well, OP says she's a politician now, so maybe she was looking for something in regards to political support, or maybe she legitimately thinks she wasn't a bad person. A lot of Christian teachers believe they can do no wrong because everything they do is in God's name. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.